Introducing GeForce TV. GeForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GeForce TV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Kokomo Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GeForce TV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GeForce TV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GeForce TV racing leagues. GeForce TV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GeForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GeForce TV.
Well, good evening, everybody. We welcome you in to some Monday Night Madness. Hey, there we go. Welcome to the Kokomo Speedway, Kokomo, Indiana, the place to be tonight with GeForce TV and GeForce Esports. Good evening. Welcome in as we get set for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades coming up here tonight. I'm Sean Neested. With me, back in action tonight, Scotty DeYoung. Scotty, good to have you here, and good to get back onto another tight little bull ring racetrack for these Renegades.
Good to be here, Sean. And yes, your A&J Custom Creations 360 Renegade Sprint Cars, Kokomo. Interesting track. I really haven't seen too much of, but yes, the tight bull rings produce some great racing, and cannot wait for tonight's entertainment to start.
So you see high above the racetrack here as we start our Gambler Motorsports pre-race show. You can see not a whole lot of straightaway there, and that's going to be one of the exciting parts for these drivers to tackle all evening long. Again, we welcome you in to this Monday Night Madness presentation. We'll get you set up for tonight's show with the Gambler Motorsports pre-race show. Gambler Motorsports, an e-sports racing team. They compete across the iRacing platform. From dirt racing to sports cars to pave, oval, even endurance races, they do it all. Head on over to Gambler Motorsports on Facebook, give them a follow, and thank them for their support of the GeForce Racing Leagues. Taking a look here at some of the drivers making their way around the track. There's Terry Landis and his 661. Jonathan Short right there out there in the A&J Custom Creations number 51 machine. And Scotty, we got to talk about this driver, the number 30 of Stephen Goldner. Why do I bring him up? Well, there's a good reason I would bring up Stephen Goldner. That brings us into our NSM Wraps points updates. And Scotty, we've got a new name atop the charts in the point standings coming into tonight.
That we do. Stephen Goldner in that 30 car atop the leaderboard now, was sitting in second place, 594 for the driver of the number 30 car. Kyle Moonen shuffled down to second place with 589. Shawn Bowers, driver of the 03 car, at 562. Jack Clevenger, 78 driver, 543. And rounding out the top five, the driver of the 51, Jonathan Short, with 502.
Lane Snook, he'll move up to the 6th spot in the point standings. By the way, Lane picked up a win last Thursday night in the Big Block Modified, so congratulations to him on that. Jesse Bandy sits 7th in the points coming into tonight. Following him is his Bandy-built teammate, Jeff Fitzpatrick, and fellow Minnesotan, by the way. Ross Correnta sits number 9 in the points. Max Langevin in the 10th spot, entering tonight's program here for these GeForce Racing Leagues. A&J Custom Creations Renegades. That points update brought to you by NSM Wraps. And Scotty, it's a big week across the entire GeForce Racing family. There's so many events coming up here. This is one of 19 different events different leagues that'll be hosted here by the GeForce Racing Leagues this week, but 5 of them are broadcast each and every week. But this week on Saturday, the Racing for Grady 150, and on Sunday, it's a 2-day deal, 4 events with the 358 modifieds. It's going to be some great racing action, and all going for a great cause. Going to help Grady, a former USAC racer, try to offset some of his medical bills, his therapy bills. Of course, you don't just have medical bills anymore. You have to, get your muscles and everything working after you have injuries like he did. So great cause, great event coming up this weekend. So many great people stepping up to make it a success, making donations, and you can donate too. Just head on over on Facebook to the GeForce Racing Leagues Facebook page. There's a great podcast from last week you can watch. You'll learn more about it. You'll learn Grady's story in detail, or head over to GeForceRL.com to learn more as well. So we would invite you to do that, and then tune in and enjoy the action this weekend. That's the Racing for Grady 150 this Saturday and Sunday.
That it is, and like you said, Shawn, a great cause to be racing for. So we'll be talking with Roger, I think, later on here to kind of explain what's going on and to promote the show.
Yeah, we will look forward to that as you see the cars continuing to make their way around the track. Final few minutes of practice here at the Kokomo Speedway for these A&J Custom Creations Renegades. And going to be a big night of racing here at the track. Of course, Brandon Schultz picked up the win with us last week. Matthew Croakey got his first league win 2 weeks ago. And hey, by the way, take a look at the fast 2 times right now, Scotty. Brandon Schultz, Matthew Croakey atop the charts. They're the most recent winners in this division.
Yeah, so they seem to have this track figured out just a little bit, and it's going to be a fun race here. Last week, we were at Fairbury, and that's a tight racetrack as well, and we saw Brandon Schultz working the bottom side of the raceway to get that win, and I'm sure he'll probably be doing the same thing here tonight too, and Matthew Croakey as well following him. I don't know what it is about these short tracks, Shawn, but they seem to put on the most excitement and the best door-to-door racing you can have.
Oh, I agree with that on iRacing. I agree with that in real life as well. I'm a big fan of the short tracks, and really excited to see what these Renegades can do here tonight at the Kokomo Speedway. Let's do this. Let's go on board right now as you see Aiden Young making his way around the racetrack. We'll go on board the 69 machine here. And not easy to get around this track. Watch just how little there is for straightaway. You're in the corner, you're in the next corner. This thing, it is quick. Also, the other note here, Scotty, and I know you've been on some tracks like this, banking on the bottom of the racetrack, it's flat or goes the opposite way. And as you get up the speedway and closer to that outside wall, there gets to be a little bit more banking. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we run through the night as well.
Yeah, this track really reminds me of a track that I voiced at the Off-Road Speedway, and Shawn, I know you're familiar with it too. They're in Norfolk, Nebraska. It's a tight racetrack. The corners are very, very wide, but like you mentioned, Shawn, the straightaways, there's hardly anything to them. So you come out of the corner and, okay, I got a straightaway set for the oh, hey, corner's actually here already, okay. So very quick thinking and just reaction time that you have on these type tracks. So we've seen 360 sprint cars out at off-road during their regular race season, which you've called, Shawn, and so I think this is going to be very similar to a night at off-road speedway on Saturday night.
I was just I think you're right about that, and I'm just listening in here. Terry Landis, listen to the RPMs. You can see the RPMs. That's a lot of work going on inside that car right now for Terry Landis.
That it is. But he's making it look easy, though. Then again, most of these guys do. They make it look easy.
They sure do. They do. We've got a lot of talented drivers here on the GeForce Racing Leagues and in these A&J Custom Creations Renegades as the sun sets here at Kokomo, and we're getting set for Bandy-Built qualifications still coming up here in just a little bit. Terry Landis taking that 661 to the infield. Looks like Stephen Goldner, he's finishing up his practice session out there as well, looping it around. And I bet they are about to have their drivers meeting down there. And yeah, just as we've talked about a couple times here, Scotty, everyone's going to have fun. Well, not everyone's going to have fun, but most of the drivers are going to have fun. The people who won't, they're going to have the job here tonight. That's going to be your officials who will be working behind the scenes making all the calls for all of these events.
Yeah, that is true, and just like at a regular racetrack, it's being an officiating crew is not easy. There's so many things you have to watch, especially out in the real world as well. So these guys will have their hands full tonight, but I'm sure they will do it just fine, like they do each and every week.
Absolutely, and of course there's the review committee that they'll check everything out after the events, and great system. You can learn all about it at GForceRL.com. As there's a look at the stands here at the Kokomo Speedway. The Brian Clausen victory lane down there in the bottom of the front straightaway. I like this racetrack. You don't know the man. You haven't had the pleasure to work with him, Scotty, but a good friend of mine, Rob Goodman, is the announcer at Kokomo and gets to work a lot of their great events. And Goodman comes over to Minnesota. He RC races with us. I get to travel to Indiana and RC race with him once or twice a year. So good to be at his home track here tonight. So it's always good to know some folks at these tracks. Pretty cool place, Kokomo Speedway. They have a lot of great USAC events throughout the year. So if you can ever get to this racetrack in real life, do so. You're going to enjoy the racing action at this track. Great USAC Sprint Car Racing, the World of Outlaws put on. NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series put on a great show there last year. Midgets at this racetrack, phenomenal, lights out. So if you ever get an opportunity to check out this track, do so. Get there, and you will enjoy the Kokomo Speedway. Scotty, let's check the weather for tonight here in Kokomo, Indiana.
71 degrees with a 65% humidity in the air. Partly cloudy skies with a wind of 9 miles an hour. Perfect night for racing. And Shawn, we went from last week to being in tundra cold temperatures. It's actually warmed up outside here in the Midwest.
It is. We're like 50 degrees warmer than we were last week at this time when we were talking. It is incredible how much it has changed out there, but certainly for the better. I actually got all the snow off my driveway today. It started to melt away, so I'm a happy man.
Yes, the snow is starting to melt here over in George, Iowa, and warmer temperatures. I was in shorts again today, and it just felt right to be in warmer temperatures here at the end of February.
Whoa. You put the shorts away last week in the below zero weather?
Yes, I did. I was wearing jeans, but it seems like Elsa finally did let it go, and we have warmer weather again. So, yeah.
Here's the ultimate question. Now, if you guys know my friend Scotty, let me find this. My friend Scotty here doesn't always like to wear sleeves. So the ultimate test of how cold it was last week, Scotty, did you have long sleeves on at any point?
There was a couple days that I did. Normally, I don't wear sleeves. In the picture you see on your screen, I am wearing sleeves for some odd reason, which is, we might need an updated picture. But yes, no, I normally don't wear sleeves. And yes, was wearing sleeves for a couple days last week. Looks like we are going to get on with Bandy-Built qualifications here.
Absolutely. Cars beginning to make their way onto the track for qualifications, brought to us by Bandy-Built, the proud supporters of the GeForce Racing Leagues, headquartered in Rochester, Minnesota. Bandy-Built puts a focus on fun and friendly competition. Cars on the speedway, and we'll start to see some times clock in here as you see Preston Cranmer immediately to the top of the charts. Now Matthew Croakey overtakes the top spot, a 10:9:35 with Aiden Young right behind him.
You saw Stephen Goldner in the 4th place spot, but Lane Snook immediately up to that 4th place spot. Corey Kussler in the 11, putting up an 11 points. And just like that, boy, I don't know which car to watch, Sean. Brandon Schultz going atop the leaderboard now for quick time. And Kussler puts in a faster second lap at a 10.78, knocking Schultz to the 2nd place spot. I don't think Brandon Schultz is done yet, though. Looks like he might be done with that first lap there, but wow. Time's coming in, and the 126 car currently atop your leaderboard.
There's a look at Brian Moore Jr. He just chimed in at 6th quick there. Was now number 2 in the point standings on the clock. Kyle Moonen out here on the Speedway in the number 24 machine. We'll see where he goes on the charts here. And he'll come in at 7th quick on lap number 1, 11:06 for the driver who's picked up a couple of feature wins with us this year, Knoxville and Lanier. He's been to victory lane in that 24 machine, and Moonen will sit 7th quick here in Bandy-Built qualifications. So right now, 20 drivers have taken time here tonight for the Bandy-Built qualifications.
That they have, and that's going to move us into qualifying here tonight and via heat races. And your first heat race is going to be brought to you by A&J Custom Creations. They specialize in laser engraving and CNC machining. A&J Custom Creations puts its craftsmanship to work in every wood trophy and plaque they produce. A&J trophies and plaques to all GeForce Racing Division champions. Contact Andy Patton today to order your custom creation today.
Very cool, all of the work that they do for the GeForce Racing Leagues. There's the Kokomo Speedway, Brian Clausen Victory Lane. That's where our drivers are all hoping to park it tonight. And, of course, that was the Brian Clausen famous phrase, hashtag parked it. So somebody's going to get to use that hashtag tonight when they'll park their car in the winner's circle in the BC Victory Lane here at the Kokomo Speedway. Here you see the checkered atop the screen, and we're just about set to get into that first of our heat races here tonight for these A&J Custom Creations Renegades here tonight at the Kokomo Speedway. Good look at some of the cars out here on the track. We'll take a look at the starting grid, Scotty, as heat race number 1 ready to push off.
It's going to be starting on the pole in the 07 car, Preston Kramer, and to his outside on the front row, the number 24 of Kyle Moonen.
Row number 2, that's Aiden Young, the number 69 on the inside. Your quick timer, Corey Kussler, in the 126. He'll line up in position number 4.
Side of row 3 in the 03 car, that is Shawn Bowers, and to the outside, the 010, Ross Carenta.
We'll move to the 4th row. That's Steven Fernberg on the inside. He drives the number 29 machine. And Austin Graby on the outside of the 4th row. That's the number 87. That's the starting lineup for heat race number 1 for the A&J Custom Creations Renegades here tonight from the Kokomo Speedway. Top 4 finishers after 8 laps going on to tonight's A&J Custom Creations A main. So we are just about set here, Scotty.
8 cars for 8 laps of distance here in heat race number 1. Sean, I got a friend who's watching tonight who just messaged me and said, Scotty, I really don't know much about racing, but what are these spaceship-like looking cars that are on the track here? Could you please explain? So for those that are watching, these are 360 sprint cars, and they put on a great show no matter where they go. And you're about to see one heck of a show coming off turn 4 when we go green.
Yeah, they are rocket ships. The wing on the top, the center is actually, if you're new to sprint car racing, not familiar with them, it's basically an airplane wing, but upside down. It plants the car downward instead of causing lift. And these things, very light, but a whole lot of horsepower. As you see that on the opening lap. Aiden Young out to the race lead, trying to pull away. He's got Kyle Moonen in 2nd, Kussler in 3rd, and here's a battle for the 4th and final transfer spot. Shawn Bowers, who started the season with a victory, he's got that position in that 03 machine.
Preston Kramer, the 07 car, your pole sitter, shuffled all the way back to the 7th place position as he comes around turn number 4. Aiden Young still out front with an open track in front of him as he still leads Kyle Moonen, Corey Kussler, Ross Carenta, your top 4.
Wow, that move from Ross Carenta to get around the outside and into a transfer spot was impressive down the back straightaway as they start to bunch up out front. Aiden Young's got a little bit of company as Kyle Moonen closing in on him. Ross Carenta, though, he is one of the first drivers really to start rim riding here tonight. We'll see if he can make it pay off. He's got 3 more laps to try to gain some more spots and better starting position in the A-main as they race for the lead now, Scotty.
They do. Aiden Young had a tail tank full of 24 car of Kyle Moonen. Moonen lost a little speed. Look at that 10 car coming to call around the outside. Oh, slide job. We got cars into the fence. Your top 4 getting shuffled around. The only one, Corey Kussler, taking the white flag as no caution laps here in these heat races. Wow, what a turn of events.
Oh my, Corey Kussler's going to sneak in with the win. Shawn Bowers second. There's for third. Steven Fernberg and Austin Graby gets the final transfer spot. Unbelievable change of events there, Scotty, at the end of our A&J Custom Creations Heat Race number 1. We'll get a look at the results here, but boy, nobody saw that one coming. Things changed so quickly, and wow, that changes the night for these drivers incredibly. Kussler's going to get the win. Bowers, Fernberg, and Graby transfer. To the B main goes Preston Cranmer, Ross Carenta, Kyle Moonen, and Aiden Young. So some of our top points runners already in the B main here tonight and going to be starting deep in the field in tonight's main event. That is setting the night up for it to be a wild one, Scotty, as we get set to roll to heat race number 2, which is brought to us by the McConey Setup Shop. Jesse Bandy's going to line up on the inside of row number 1, the number 57 machine. Next to him, the 51, that's John Short.
To the inside of row 2, the 123 car of Lane Snook, who has a feature win already. And to his outside, Brandon Schultz in the 193, who also has a couple feature wins under his belt this season.
Michael Redding, the 301, he'll line up in the 5th starting spot on the grid. And your points leader, that's Steven Goldner. He'll line up the number 30 car outside of row number 3.
Starting shotgun on the field here, the 46 car of Joe Backus.
So that is the starting lineup for this heat race. Heat race number 2 brought to us by the McConey Setup Shop, where they've got an open door policy when it comes to communications. You go to them to go faster. They take all the worry out of getting your iRacing cars set up, so you just have to worry about driving and going faster. That's the McConey Setup Shop. They build relationships with each and every one of their customers, and you can learn more by finding McConey Setup Shop on Facebook. We go green. Heat race number 2 is underway. 4 transfer spots up for grabs here, Scotty.
And Jesse Bandy coming off a second place finish with no hood and nose wing, so I'm sure he's glad to have that back in the lead. Lap number 1, 3 wide for position number 2. And Lane Snook sneaking around the inside, and a battle with Jonathan Short now off turn number 4.
Snook sneaking. Say that 5 times fast. Look at this battle up front. Jesse Bandy gets a good run. Look at that for second. Lane Snook got around the outside of John Short. Short now back to third. Brandon Schultz in the final transfer spot. He'll dive to the bottom. Can he go 2 for 1? Well, he had 1. Doesn't get any at the end of it. John Short back into the 3rd spot. Here comes Schultz. Slide job off of turn number 4. Short back to his inside. Here comes Steven Goldner into the mix.
Goldner up to that 4th position, or was now, yes, back up to that 4th position in turns 3 and 4. Oh, it looks like Schultz possibly got into the wall ever so slightly. Lane Snook is in that 2nd place spot. Jesse Bandy out in front as we're coming to 2 to go, Sean.
2 laps to go. Bandy enjoying a 7/10 of a second lead over Lane Snook, Brandon Schultz, and Steven Goldner in the transfer spots. John Short now runs 5th. Michael Redding in 6th. Joe Backus back there in position number 7. Final time, they'll head down the back straightaway, Scotty.
Turn number 3, heat comes the 57 car. Jesse Bandy out in front. He will take home the checkers. Lane Snook in 2nd, Brandon Schultz in 3rd, and your points leader, Steven Goldner, in that 4th and final transfer spot. Jonathan Short comes home 5th, and we will see your official heat race number 2 results in just a second.
Boom, just like magic.
And Michael Redding, your 6th spot, and Joel Backus, your 7th spot there. So Jesse Bandy coming home 2nd last week after getting into a incident on the opening laps there at Fairbury, and he did it without a nose wing, without a hood. Man, that guy's just impressive.
He has a good run here to start this night of action, as we'll get set now for heat race number 3, the Howard Hanna Real Estate heat race, and it has Terry Landis on the pole position in the 661. Blake Chapman, the Skittles number 20, going to start next to him on your opening row.
Row 2 is going to see Brian Moore Jr. in the 09 to the inside, to his outside, a feature winner already here this season, the number 2 of Matthew Croakey.
Daniel Vaught going to line up inside the third row, the number 180 machine, and John Hine in the crew shop, number 71. He'll roll off from position number 6.
Starting shotgun on the field in the 021, that is going to be Kevin Fry. That is your starting lineup for heat race number 3, brought to you by Howard Hanna Real Estate. Howard Hanna Real Estate Estate Services is the number 1 family-owned and operated independent broker in the USA. Scott Hurwitz at Howard Hanna Real Estate has been a multi-million-dollar commercial and residential real estate agent for years and can help you find an experienced professional realtor anywhere across the country with the experience and knowledge to ask the right questions and to get you the best house for the right price. Once again, Howard Hanna Real Estate brings you heat race number 3.
On board your 6th starter, John Hine here, as you get a good look at the tail tank of the 2 of Matthew Croakey. Pace truck about to drop him off, and we will have a green flag when we get down over to turn number 4. 6-pack of cars, 4 of them going directly to the A main after 8 times around the Kokomo Speedway. Your Howard Hanna Real Estate heat race number 3, going green.
Green is out. Terry Landis leads them into turn number 1 and 2. Blake Chapman is going to be in second. Look at Matthew Croakey, though, coming to call around the outside. Wow, almost contact there. Landis tried to shut the door, could not do so. Croakey leads lap number 1. We're 3 wide for the race lead into turn 3, Sean.
Look at John Hine ripping around the high side, trying to gain some spots. Whoa, there are so many different lines on this little racetrack. So exciting as Croakey rips by the 661 of Terry Landis. Once again, Landis back through the middle. Here comes Hine on the top. Chapman right inside him. Currently holds the final transfer spot just in front of Brian Moore Jr. Oh, little contact there, the 71 of Hine. He loses all of his momentum and loses several spots as well.
Just as I was going to say, the crew shop is cruising around the top side. A little bit incident into the wall there as he's going to get shuffled back to that 6th place spot. Meanwhile, Landis and Moore Jr. battling out for positions 3 and 4, that final transfer spot. Then a little bit back to Vaught in the 180. Matthew Croakey, the 2 car, still out in front.
Croakey looking good in this one as we continue to work the laps down to 2 laps to go. There you see the interval out there for Croakey, just over 1 second over the 20 of Blake Chapman. Brian Moore Jr., Terry Landis right now in the transfer spots. White flag is in the air. Final lap for Croakey.
Croakey down the back straightaway for the final time in heat race number 3. Clear track in front of him. He's going to pick up the checkers. Close race here for second. Blake Chapman is going to have the 2nd place spot, Moore in 3rd, and Terry Landis picking up your 4th and final transfer spot to tonight's A feature.
Wow, some good heat races here tonight already, as we'll get your official results here for heat race number 3. And your last 4 direct transfers into the A main: Matthew Croakey, Blake Chapman, Brian Moore Jr., and Terry Landis. Vaught and Hine going to the B main here tonight. Speaking of that Velocity Race Design B feature event, that is next on the schedule here tonight, Scotty. So what do you say we take a look at how they line up on the starting grid?
It's going to be Preston Kramer starting on the pole to the inside of row 1, to his outside, the 51 of John Short.
Daniel Vaught going to line up 3rd on the grid inside the 2nd row, the 180. Ross Carenta next to him in car number 10.
Michael Redding to the inside of row 3 in car 301, to his outside, the crew shop 71 of John Hine.
Kyle Moonen, he'll start 7th on the grid, the number 24 machine. Joe Backus, the 46, on the outside of row number 4.
And starting in the 9th place spot, starting shotgun on the field, the 69 of Aiden Young.
So that is the starting lineup. Everyone's going to transfer to the main event. It's just a matter of starting spots for the upcoming A feature here tonight at the Kokomo Speedway. This B main is brought to you by Velocity Race Design. Look no further than Velocity Race Design for a fresh new look on your favorite dirt car. Whether it's that hot new design for your real car or a retro throwback of a hero of yours for the sim, Velocity Race Design, they can do it for you, and they'll do it right. Race on over to Velocity Race Design on Facebook and order yourself a custom paint design right after tonight's Renegades feature wraps up.
Looks like we're going to be going green this time off turn number 4. Velocity Race Design Consolation feature. Green flag is out. We are underway. Cranmer and Short lead them into turn 1 and 2. Cranmer out with the early race lead. Here comes John Short ripping the high side. And to turns 3 and 4, it's going to be Preston Cranmer leading lap number 1.
See the drivers using every inch of this racetrack as John Short back to the lead on the back straightaway. Looks like right now that bottom may be better in 3 and 4. As I say that, Cranmer got the car loose, lost a couple of spots. Here comes Ross Carrenta, just as he was doing in the heat race, charging that high line and coming forward, bringing with him the 71 of John Hine.
Line here seems to be hooked and booked for these guys here tonight, Sean. As you see Preston Cranmer trying to work the bottom side of the raceway, cannot do it to his advantage. You see Kyle Moon in the 24 car working upstairs as well. John Short going to leave another lap. Ross Carrenta in that second place spot. Preston Cranmer in third, and John Hine in fourth in the Crew Shop 71.
Here they come down by the stripe. We'll have 5 laps to go here in this Velocity Race Design B main event at the Kokomo Speedway. Hine back there in fourth, but he's got some pressure starting to mount in right there behind him, the 24 of Kyle Moonen. He's running some fast laps here. That 24 now right there to the tail tank of John Hine in the 71.
Turn 2 down the back straightaway. Moonen trying to gain as we go on board with him. Trying to gain on the 71 car of John Hine. Hine switches lines now. Dive bombs down to the bottom. Moonen staying up top. Was that a good choice for Hine? We'll see here in the closing laps as we have 2 laps to go at the flag stand, Sean.
There you see them, different lines, still pretty good out here on this racetrack as Moonen's going to get that spot. He moves up to 4th on the field. John Short bangs the wall off of 4th. Sees the white flag. Ross Carrenta right there. He'll get the wall in turn number 2. Preston Cranmer in 3rd, but as they work themselves off of turn number 4, it'll be John Short coming to the finish line first in tonight's Velocity Race Design B main. Ross Carrenta second, Preston Cranmer, Kyle Moonen, and John Hine in the top 5 spots. So wow, Scotty, if these preliminary races, the qualifying action tonight is any indication, we are in for a treat when we roll around to tonight's main event coming up here in just a couple of moments.
That it is, and we've seen great racing action already in these heat races, Sean, and I can only imagine what the feature event is going to bring here in just a few minutes.
Absolutely looking forward to that. That brings us to tonight's pre-main break, which is brought to us by Icon Sim Sports. Icon Sim Sports, when you're looking to upgrade your rig for iRacing, look no further than Icon Sim Sports. Why, you may be asking? Well, once you see their work, their craftsmanship, their quality, you'll know exactly why, and you'll have yourself a custom chassis engineered just for your specifications, giving you the look, feel, and design of a real race car while giving you all of the great conveniences you need for iRacing. And they're all made right here in the USA. And if that's not enough personalization, they'll even make it your specific color and the graphics so it's perfect for you and your iRacing team. Head on over to Icon Sim Sports to learn more. Also part of this Icon Sim Sports pre-main break, Scotty, we get to unveil this week's driver, who is this week's NSM Photos Driver of the Week. NSM Photos naming the Driver of the Week each and every week for the GeForce Racing Leagues. NSM Photos is the newest division of Need Speed Motorsports. They're able to provide professional-looking pictures of both 1080p as well as stunning 4K resolution. NSM Photos offering hero cards as another way to show off your car, your team, and you. Head on over to needspeedmotorsports.com or NSM Photos on Facebook. Scotty, are we ready for that big moment when we get to unveil the Driver of the Week?
I think I got it. Is it perhaps the driver of the 015 car? Maybe.
It is.
What's his name? Justin Stick, I believe, right?
Nailed it.
Justin Stick is your NSM driver photo of the week driver, and went from position 20 to passing 15 cars to finish position number 5 in last week's Big Block Modified Division, and quite a show he put on, by the way, for that. Your honorable mention this week is Jeff Fitzpatrick, who also passed 15 cars in the Pro Late Models, moving from position 23 to position 8. But Justin Stick is your NSM Photo Driver of the Week.
Very cool. We will congratulate him on Thursday night for Thursday Night Thunder. We've got drivers to congratulate for good runs coming up here in our A&J Custom Creations main event. That's right around the corner. You're watching the A&J Custom Creations Renegades. They're live on GForce TV, and the A-Main is coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us.
At McConey Setup Shop, we offer custom-built setups for any asphalt oval car. Prices starting at just $5. Weekly setups available for all Legends, late models, modifieds, and NASCAR trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. Do you need one-on-one driver coaching? We've got you covered. Visit www.McConeySetupShop.com and find yourself in Victory Lane. McConey Setup Shop, handling all your setup needs so you don't have to.
Welcome back to the Kokomo Speedway, Kokomo, Indiana. The A&J Custom Creations Renegades getting set for their main event, which is rolling onto the Speedway here in a matter of moments. Scotty, excited for this one. A track like this, I really think there's no starting position too deep that's going to take a driver out of contention. We're going to see some drivers really come through the field, and somebody's going to get paid off with a Hard Charger Award at the end of tonight's main event.
That we will, and 2W's Plumbing brings you your Hard Charger Award here each and every week. Located in Naples, New York, 2W's Plumbing is a full-service company specializing in all aspects of plumbing and general contracting and water treatment for commercial, residential, and multifamily housing. Chris Whipple is the man to contact at 585-749-9478. Or look them up online at 2wsplumbingllc.com. That's 2W's Plumbing, bringing you the Hard Charger Award here each and every week for the GeForce Racing League's A&J Custom Creations Renegade Sprint Cars.
It is time for tonight's main event. Starting lineup for this 30-lapper has Corey Kussler on the pole position, the 126 next to him, the 57 of Jesse Bandy.
Inside, row number 2 is the number 2 car of Matthew Croakey. To the inside, to his outside, the 03 of Shawn Bowers.
The 123 of Lane Snook. He'll start inside the third row. Next to him, it's the 20 of Blake Chapman.
The inside of row 4, Steven Fernberg in car 29, and to his outside, the 193 car. That is Brandon Schultz.
Rolling off from position number 9 is the 09. It's Brian Moore Jr. And lining up 10th on the grid, the 087 Austin Graby.
Going to your 6th row to the inside, starting off from position number 11, your current points leader, the number 30 of Stephen Goldner, and his outside, the 661, Terry Landis.
Starting 13th on the lineup here tonight, the number 51, that is John Short. Next to him, that'll be the 10 car, that's Ross Carenta.
The inside of row number 9, it is going to be, row number 7. Whichever row it is. Preston Kramer to the inside of the 07 car, and Kyle Moonen in car 24 to his outside of row 8.
John Hines starts 17th on the grid. Joe Backus outside row number 9 in the 46.
Michael Redding, Aiden Young going to be row 10, and Daniel Vaught in the 180 starting shotgun on the field in position 21.
That is our starting lineup. A&J Custom Creations brings us this main event for their Renegade Series. We are ready to go here at the Kokomo Speedway. Anybody's guess who's going to survive this one to go to the BC victory lane and park it here tonight. We go green with tonight's main event.
It's going to be Jesse Bandy, Matthew Croakey leading the field into turns 1 and 2. In the inside of the track, Jesse Bandy upstairs and into the wall. Matt Croakey's going to lead lap number 1.
Yeah, a little contact there. Jesse Bandy has dropped back to the 9th position after getting in the wall outside of turn number 4. But it is Matthew Croakey and Lane Snook battling for the lead. Here comes Snook around the outside looking for the top spot while Brandon Schultz is on the bottom.
Brandon Schultz working the bottom side of the racetrack like we saw him last week at Fairbury. Lane Snook upstairs, top shelf racing for the 123 car as him and Brandon Schultz battle it out for that race lead coming into turn number 3.
They still battle it out off of turn number 4. Lane Snook and Brandon Schultz right there together in the corner. Two different lines, two different theories. Brandon Schultz way out of the throttle. Lane Snook hustling the top. Still side by side at the stripe. It's Schultz by the slimmest of margins.
Schultz and Snook trade that lead back and forth. Shawn Bowers trying to move up here in the race lead as he's up to position number 4. Currently working on Jonathan Short's 51 car to the outside of the racetrack. Brandon Schultz still your race leader. Lane Snook still on the top shelf, trying to run him down in car 123.
Interesting different lines for these drivers as Matthew Croakey gets sideways there in the 3rd spot. That'll create a 3-wide log jam for the 3rd spot. Here comes John Short on the bottom. He'll have the position now, or does he? Here comes Shawn Bowers around the outside. He'll take 3rd with the 2-for-1 special over there in 3 and 4. Now he has it down the backstretch.
You see more in the 09 car right behind them as he wants to try to join in on the fun. Still out in front, though, Brandon Schultz working the bottom side of the racetrack, working on the infield tractor tires. It's anybody's guess, though, from Matthew Croakey. The 4th spot on back is Blake Chapman up to that 7th place position now. Jesse Bandy started on the outside pole, and he is still in that 8th place position.
Bunch of racing going on deep in the field as Brandon Schultz and Lane Snook see lap traffic in front of them by not too far of a margin. There's Shawn Bowers, Brian Moore Jr., Blake Chapman continue to run in the top 5. Brandon Schultz, he's officially about to enter lap traffic here, Scotty. That changes everything for these drivers.
It's making it look so easy on the bottom side of the raceway, but he's got a gaggle of cars in front of him. Look at the power move from Lane Snook, trying to get to the tail tank of the 193 car as we are on board with Schultz in the 193. Still working the bottom side of the racetrack, trying to get to the inside of the lap cars and trying to find some clear track out in front of him.
Nice bit of patience there as now you see Lane Snook in traffic as well. The 123 coming forward and trying to reel in your leader. Scotty, we are halfway home in tonight's A&J Custom Creations Renegades A-Feature event. A 2.5-second lead for Brandon Schultz over Lane Snook.
We have several drivers that could be contending for your hard charger here tonight. Couple drivers with 7 spots. Kyle Moonen, though, up 9 positions. Your current hard charger sitting in that 7th place spot. But out in front, though, Brandon Schultz still working the bottom side of the racetrack as we're looking at Kyle Moonen and Blake Chapman battling there. Still 12 laps to go for the driver of the 193 car, trying to pick up yet another win here in your Renegades 360 Sprint car.
There you see Lane Snook. He's entering turn 3. Shawn Bowers exiting turn 2 at the same time. So a bit of distance out front for these drivers. But, boy, it is still wild for positions. Here is the 24 of Kyle Moonen. He is up to position number 6. John Short, the 51 machine. That is 5th. They're in front of Blake Chapman, who's in 7th. Now Kyle Moonen, 11 spots gained. He's into the top 5 in that number 24.
Trying to regain the points lead as the 24 car of Kyle Moonen. Positions mean everything here in the closing weeks of your GeForce Racing leagues here. Brandon Schultz still with the race lead as we take a look at Shawn Bowers and Brian Moore Jr. sitting in that 4th place spot. Moonen up to the top 5 in car 24. Lane Snook still driving on around on the top side of the raceway, trying to catch the 193 of Schultz, who just went by the flag stand. And Schultz almost a 4.5-second lead over 2nd place running Lane Snook.
I want you to see this, folks. Here is Brandon Schultz, your race leader. Where is 2nd place? Right there, Lane Snook. Right now, Brandon Schultz dominating here at Kokomo, and we've only got 6 laps to go. What an impressive performance this is, as Steven Goldner is in 7th place. That's Steven Goldner on the outside of your race leader. your leader has lapped up to the 7th place car, trying to put him a lap down with 4 laps to go for your leader.
4 laps to go for Brandon Schultz and trying to catch the 51 car of John Short, who is in that 6th place position. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, but what a performance by Brandon Schultz in the 193 car tonight, as we are going to see 2 laps to go, this time by the flag stand when he crosses it. Such an amazing event here going on, Sean.
Look at this battle for 3rd. Brian Moore Jr. has it, and Kyle Moonen wants it. Moonen from deep in the field, working to the outside of Moore, working for 4th. 4 wide with traffic down the front straightaway. White flag is in the air. This is a fantastic race. Moonen grabs the 3rd spot. Here comes Brandon Schultz into turn 3 for the final time. 6.2 second lead, and Brandon Schultz dominates and picks up the win here at Kokomo with the A&J Custom Creations Renegades.
I think what needs to be mentioned as well, Sean, flag to flag, 0 cautions tonight for your A&J Custom Creations A feature event. Brandon Schultz made it look easy, as he is going to go to Brian Kloss in victory lane. Lane Snook in 2nd, Kyle Moonen in 3rd, Moore 4th, Jonathan Short in 5th. Wow, what a race from Kokomo here tonight.
Oh, flag to flag. Scotty, I feel terrible about this. We have got to apologize to our good friends at Malcolm Mills Millwrighting Service, the full-service millwrighting contractors, and where they have custom welding and fabricating, plus service for their industrial clients. mmmillwrighting.com is their website. I am so sorry, everybody at Malcolm Mills. We did not get to utilize a Malcolm Mills replay on a tight bull ring, 30 consecutive laps of racing, Scotty.
That just shows you just the equivalent and the talent behind the wheel here tonight with these drivers. Tight bull ring, close door-to-door racing, 30 laps, no cautions. Kudos to all the drivers here tonight. Such a good race, such clean racing. But in the end, it is Brandon Schultz atop of the leaderboard, atop of the charts. He puts himself in Brian Kloss in victory lane here tonight at the Kokomo Speedway.
How cool is that? Brandon Schultz doesn't just park it tonight. He dominates it and gets the victory, as we will have an opportunity to hear from our top 3 finishers here in a couple moments, as we'll head on down for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps podium presentation. If you're looking to stand out from the competition, Epsilon Sprint Wraps creates tailor-made graphics and logos to fit your personal taste. With a focus on realistic design, you'll look like you drove off your local dirt track and right into iRacing. Champions choose Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Tonight's 3rd place finisher is also going to be that 2W's Plumbing Hard Charger recipient tonight, Scotty. That's going to be Kyle Moonen. We'll have an opportunity to hear from him. Lane Snook and Brandon Schultz, your top 3 here, as they'll park it down here in the winner's circle on the podium, and they're climbing out of the cars, getting all of the safety equipment off, and I'm really I, Scotty, would bet that these drivers pretty tired after 30 consecutive laps on this very, very demanding little racetrack. I'm looking forward to hearing from all of these drivers here in a couple of moments.
I would think so too, Sean. I mean, really elbows up racing tonight, and such a great show put on here for the A feature. Like we've said already, flag to flag racing, and yeah, just awesome.
Great show here tonight for all of these divisions. What an event it was for all 30 laps here tonight for these A&J Custom Creations Renegades. What a night, what a show. Great show for all of these teams here this evening. As we'll have an opportunity to hear now from, well, let's hear from our 2nd place finisher. We'll jump right in here. Lane Snook, he's got the equipment off. He's ready to talk to us. Lane Snook getting a runner-up finish here tonight in the 123. He's standing by with Scotty DeYoung.
Lane, I mean, we're used to seeing tight bull rings here on the GeForce Racing Leagues, but I think this is the first race we've had that's gone flag to flag. What was this racetrack like, and what was it like, especially getting into lap traffic there mid-race?
Honestly, was pretty surprised that it went flag to flag. I was kind of hoping for a yellow there towards the end, but Brandon was faster than me, so I don't think it would have mattered.
When you're working in lap traffic like that, just trying to catch a leader, what's going through your head when you're sitting there behind the wheel, and how how confident do you have to be in making sure you're hitting your marks correctly?
You got to be super confident, and you can't be impatient with the lap traffic, but you got to not screw around with them, and you got to be smart around them because some of them can do some stupid stuff to you.
You've had a great couple of runs here in the past few weeks here on iRacing and the GeForce Racing Leagues. Who do you have to give credit to for helping put this 123 car on the podium time and time again?
I need to thank Velocity Designs, Vanderbilt Racing, Brandon, Moonen, Lacey, Jesse, Goldner, Fitzy, JP, missing somebody. They're Dr. Trucking, Bible.com, Powerhouse Motorsports, Wagman Brothers, you guys for the broadcast, Universal Settlement Service, Jacqueline Howard Associates, Keystone Alliance, KKP Keys Recordings Products, Fox's Pizza Den, Mexico Ridge Beef Farm, Snook Dirt Designs.
And once again, putting the 123 car on the podium here once again, Elaine Snook, your runner-up here tonight. Congratulations on tonight, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
It looks like we're who is going to be talking with the winner here tonight, standing by with the 193 car of Brandon Schultz. Shawn?
Well, Brandon, another strong performance here tonight. That's 2 victories in a row now, and I don't know if you've left the bottom groove in either of those feature events. That 193 car absolutely hooked up on the bottom of these speedways.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I actually ran the same set I did at Fairbury. That set was originally built for this place, but yeah, it felt really good. Thing is, it is super fast on the bottom, but as soon as the track goes up top, I'll go backwards really quick, and luckily it didn't. It stayed green. Cautions really killed the track, so yeah, luckily it stayed green, and car's just really, I mean, it was cake to drive on the bottom.
We were able to go on board with you at one point, and you can say that thing was cake, to use your word, to drive on the bottom of the racetrack. But holy moly, you had a little bit of everything with traffic all around you there at several different points in this feature event.
Yeah. I luckily, like, usually when I was coming into the corner, I was just about, I wouldn't say locking them up, but I was pretty hard on the brake, and it slowed me down just enough for those guys that were running maybe a lane above to for me to not get into them or anything like that. So yeah, traffic was fun to fight through, especially being that close to the tires and trying to pass a guy that's 1 lane higher than you. But yeah, it was really fun.
What was it that had the car so hooked up on the bottom of the speedway without giving out the secret sauce? What is the key to getting around a track like this so quickly on the bottom?
Um, for this particular set, just a lot of throttle control, and it does some stuff a little bit different than I'm sure most people's sets have, but I mean, it's nothing too out of the ordinary. It's pretty basic stuff. I don't know, it's just really good at the way it, preloads and shifts weight. Like I really enjoy how it works. It's probably one set that I have that's actually fun to drive. Not to say, other sets aren't fun to drive, but it does a lot of the work for you.
That's got to take a little weight off of your shoulders as the driver as well. You've got to be feeling good 2 in a row, 2 very strong performances in a row. And I know there's a lot of other great people that help you get here, so here's your chance to thank them.
Yeah, I just got to thank all the boys at Vanderbilt. Another top 3 for us, so that's awesome. I got to thank Velocity Race Designs. Ross always makes the car look spectacular. Dirt Doctor Trucking, BuyOil.com, Fits Perfect. Let's see, who else is on this car? Wagaman. Got to thank you guys for the awesome broadcast. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few sponsors, but yeah, just thank you guys and Roger for putting up the league, and hopefully we put on a show tonight.
It was a show and dominating performance for you here this evening. Congratulations. Before you go, Fairbury nailed it. Kokomo nailed it. We head to Charlotte next week. Does this 193 have a little more magic in it for next Monday night?
Yeah, if we run, I think we'll be okay. We're more of a, believe it or not, we make our money on the top, so we like the top a lot better.
We'll look forward to it. Hope to see you next Monday night. There he is. Brandon Schultz going to get the win here tonight from the Kokomo Speedway. That 193 car was hooked up, Scotty, to say the very, very least. What a show it was here tonight. Now we'll look forward to some Thursday Night Thunder. The big blocks coming up on Thursday. We know with these sprint cars, the Elite Division, they'll be back in action Wednesday with the street stocks. You can catch that on GeForce Esports. And Friday night, of course, late models. And we've got the Racing for Grady 150. Again, you can donate and learn more about that. Head on over to the GeForce Racing League's page on Facebook, and you'll see all of the great details there. But what a night it was once again here, Scotty.
That it was, and just I'm still blown away by the, as you see on your screen, the 4 wide racing we had throughout this A feature and flag to flag. I think that's the first flag to flag event we've had this season, isn't it, Shawn?
It is. That is the first one for the Renegades during this season. So congratulations to all the drivers doing a fantastic job with their efforts here tonight. And Scotty, that's just going to about wrap it up here. As you see, they went flag to flag, but there were some moments out there on the racetrack for many of these drivers. Just because it was flag to flag doesn't mean that they weren't clenching that wheel. And I think some of these cars they're going to be replacing the brakes on their cars after this one. They put them through the ringers here tonight.
Going to be some shop work done this weekend before we see them back out here next week from Charlotte. So that is going to be another great race here again. So tune in next week, Monday night, for Monday Night Madness. But we will see you again Thursday, Shawn, for the big block modifieds brought to you by Epsilon Sprint Wraps.
Oh, and we're going to bring the big blocks to the small track. They'll be right here at Kokomo as well. The challenge laid down. We've opened the week with these Renegades, and they've gone caution-free in their main event. They've laid down the challenge for all of the other divisions to follow suit. That's going to do it for tonight from the Kokomo Speedway. For all of us here with the GeForce Racing Leagues and GeForce Esports and GeForce TV, we want to thank you for tuning in, all of our teams for competing, and all of our great sponsors for making it all possible. We hope you have a great week and tune back in to us on GeForce Esports very, very soon. For Scotty DeYoung and the entire crew here with the Renegades, I'm Shawn Niestead, wishing you a good night and God bless. See you at the track real soon. Good night, everybody.